Yes, we have been to Lover's Point before. In fact, we took our daughter there a couple summers ago to go swimming. It's just a very peaceful little cove with the beach, and there's a lot of kids and families that go there to swim because it's placid waters. And so we have been there in the past, and it's a beautiful place.
I mean, there's a lot of marine life, which is one of the main reasons we go to Monterey to do things like paddleboarding. But I've never seen or heard of a shark being that close to shore. So it was pretty unexpected all around, I think.
We were making our way back to shore because we felt like we had kind of gone out and done enough. So as we're making our way back, we hear someone crying for help, and it was a very loud and distinct cry. It sounded like this man was really in desperate need. And at first, we were kind of far away from him, so we couldn't tell if it was a training exercise. There was a lot of lifeguards in the area doing training, and there was also a surf class they were doing at that moment as well. So we weren't sure if this was part of a training exercise or if this was a real serious situation. And so Paul decides to just start going as fast as he can to get to the person. And as we get closer, we see all this blood, and Steve's got lacerations all over him, and then we know it's definitely a real serious situation.
Or you're like, oh, shoot.
Well, obviously, somebody crying for help is something we want to be able to respond to and get there as quickly as possible, and treat any injuries that we can find, and of course start assessing the victim as soon as possible. So as soon as I saw the deep lacerations on his arm and his leg, I knew that we were going to need some tourniquets for controlling any type of blood loss. And we're just so thankful that there was a group of people on the shore with even more medical experience than I have that were prepared to apply tourniquets and pressure dressings and get him to the hospital as quickly as possible.
Definitely. I was very fearful. I was actually holding on to Steve's legs while he was on the surfboard. The surfer was in front. He was paddling to shore as fast as he could, and then Steve was holding on to the surfer's foot, and then I was behind trying to keep Steve's legs on the surfboard, but his one leg was severed, so it kept kind of flopping off into the water and creating a lot of blood. And I found myself swimming in the sea of blood, and I was petrified that the shark could be under there still, and I could be the next victim.
So we got there just slightly before the surfer that was teaching the class. His name Heath Braddock. He had the mindfulness to bring a second surfboard out so we could pull the victim onto the surfboard and paddle him ashore a lot quicker than we could have just trying to get him onto one of our boards. And then the people on the beach, there was an ICU nurse, there was a physician and EMS people that weren't working. They were just out enjoying the beach that day the same as we were.
The bystanders that came out to help were just incredible. I mean, people right away were standing on the shore ready to help us get him out of the water and up onto the sand safely. And then people were bringing us T-shirts and towels to use as tourniquets. People were throwing things at us to use to tie. His one leg was partially amputated, and that one was really bad, so we immediately tourniqueted that one. We had somebody give us some shears, and we started cutting his wetsuit off to help so that we could identify where all the wounds were. And with these great bystanders there offering their help and support, I don't think he would have survived. There was actually a physician that was right across from me, and I felt like we were just all working so cohesively together. It was almost like we were running a code blue in the hospital. It was so amazingly and professionally handled. Everybody knew what to do. Everybody had their spot. Everybody was holding pressure, putting a tourniquet. It was just really well coordinated, and luckily the professionals that came to help were just amazing. I want to say that I'm really proud of my husband because he's amazing. I mean, with his momentum, his valor, like, he was not even a question of, in a moment, hesitation to not go forward, to right into the scene. I mean, we didn't know what we were paddling towards, but he was the one that he looked behind me, and he looked behind at me, and we had this feeling that we just both we didn't even, he said, we didn't even question.
We didn't say a word to each other.
We didn't say a word to each other.
Went.
It was just, we just went. And that's who he is. That's this guy. And he is amazing. And I just want everybody to know how proud I am that he is just willing to go in and help out in a situation where could be extreme danger. And, I'm just really proud.